Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. We'll chant Om once together. Synchronize the chanting of Om with your exhalation. Breathe in. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Mavit Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Gently open your eyes. We'll chant verses 16 to 20 of chapter 3. Evam pravartitam chakram.
Evam pravartitam chakram.
Nanuvartayati hayah.
Nanuvartayati hayah.
Aghayurindriya ramah.
Aghayurindriya ramah.
Mogham partha sajivati.
Mogham partha sajivati.
Yastvat maratireva syad.
Yastvat maratireva syad.
Atmatriptascha manavah.
Atmatriptascha manavah.
Atmanyeva cha santushtah.
Atmanyeva cha santushtah.
Tasya karyam na vidyate.
Tasya karyam na vidyate.
Naiva tasya krite narthah.
Naiva tasya krite narthah.
Na krite neha kaschana.
Na krite neha kaschana.
Na chasya sarva bhuteshu.
Na chasya sarva bhuteshu.
Kaschidarthavyapashrayah.
Kaschidarthavyapashrayah.
Tasmadasaktah satatam.
Tasmadasaktah satatam.
Karyam karma samachara.
Karyam karma samachara.
Asatto hyacharan karma.
असक्तो ह्याचरन् कर्म
paramapnoti purushah
परमाप्नोति पूरुषः
कर्मणैव हि संसिद्धिम्
कर्मणैव हि संसिद्धिम्
आस्थिता जनकादयः
आस्थिता जनकादयः
लोकसङ्ग्रहमेवापि
लोकसङ्ग्रहमेवापि
सम्पश्यन् कर्तुमर्हसि
सम्पश्यन् कर्तुमर्हसि
Hari Om, and a very good day to all of you. So we are in the process of getting into the depth of the principle of Artha. Now, this is such an important principle. He has used it twice in this verse. When he is talking about action, he says there is no Artha, to act or not to act here. And then again he says, the second line, there are no beings or no objects. The Artha also means objects, which he is dependent on. So generally in the scriptures, when there is a repetition of some word, some principle, now you need to become more alert. It means they are emphasizing a particular point which is extremely important. See, when you see the style of the scriptures, they don't waste words. Yet, certain principles alone have been emphasized several times. The reason why he is emphasizing on this particular principle of Artha is because this can be totally misunderstood. See, this is like a double-edged knife, you can say. If you understand it properly, you will grow. If you misunderstand it, you can get into a state of tamas. That's why he is forcing a sadhak to think. See, generally when we want a person to think deeply, what would we do? We will repeat the same word. See, it's very interesting in this verse. He has repeated the word Artha twice in two different contexts. So in the second line, Artha means something else. In the first line, it means something else. So within a verse, he is giving two lines and he is using the same word Artha in both the lines, but the contexts are slightly different. Now, by changing the context, actually the principle does not change. But a sadhak who is following this very sincerely is forced to pause there and think, reflect a little more deeply. Here, the same word is being used, but the context is not a diametrically opposite one. Sometimes they do that also in the scriptures. They use the same word to mean two opposite things. Now that is where it becomes more confusing to a person who just casually reads it. So it all depends on the context only. For example, you are inside a room, the door is open, you are sitting inside the room, and then you call a person. You say, come. Now, supposing, let's say, instead of sitting inside the room, you are standing outside the room and you want the person to enter the room, you would tell him, go. Now, if we were to turn around and say, what is this? One time you're saying come, another time you're saying go. Now, should I come or go? You clearly tell me. Which is what Arjuna is asking, should I act or should I gain knowledge? Tadekam vada means tell me one thing, Krishna. Actually, Krishna is telling one thing only. Just as here the principle is that person has to enter the room. Whether you say come or go depends upon the context. So in our scriptures, we find such diametrically opposite contexts being used for the same principle. That's where it gets very confusing. Here it is not to that extent. It is not two extremes. He's using the same word artha for similar contexts. In the first line, he's talking about action, and in the second line, he's talking about objects, and then of course beings are also there. So what is his state? How does he relate with people? How does he relate with the various objects in the world? So he is discussing that. But even this subtle shift of context by repeating the same word in two lines, that definitely will force a serious student, a serious sadhak to stop there. You know, in the incident where Vedavyasa, when he sat down to write the Mahabharata, this is a part of the Mahabharata, he asked Lord Ganesha to write for him, and Ganesha put a condition. He said, you should go on dictating. So Vyasa said, okay, only then I will write. But then Vyasa also put a counter condition. He said, you should not write something till you understand it fully. Now, Lord Ganesha said, okay. But the way things were composed, for example, if you take this verse itself, if you are a little serious about it, if you want to understand it fully, you will have to pause. So every now and then Ganesha used to pause. And at that time, Vyasa used to compose a few more verses and he was ready. But every verse made Ganesha think so deeply. It was not so simple as he thought. And the condition is that unless he understands it fully, he should not write. So it was a game. It was a leela, a drama enacted, just to illustrate this point of depth. There, writing is symbolic of absorbing, is symbolic of studying. Now, the message which Vyasa is trying to give there is, It is not enough if you just mechanically repeat the scriptures. You should pause, you should go into the depth and grasp it fully. And by the time Ganesha thought about it, understood it, wrote, Vyasa was ready with the next set. It's a very beautiful way of putting this point across. So, this word artha is such an important word here, right now in this line, and also we'll be seeing it in the next line. So, we are spending some time with that so that you understand the depth of whatever he's giving. So, some of the dimensions which we have seen, artha means motive, that we have already seen. A yogi is one who really does not have any big motives. See, even if you take it in a very gentle way, very specifically I told you he is in a state of neutrality. But if you take it in a very general way, uh, whenever a person does something, they always have some axe to grind, something they want out of it, some motive is there. But if you take a baby, for example, there are no motives. A baby smiles at you. Why? If you ask the baby, why are you smiling? Now the baby will not be able to answer that. It's just smiling innocently. Now, a yogi's actions are exactly an extension of a baby smiling. A baby has no motives. Similarly, when you go to the master, now he acts, he says, if you exactly pin him down and ask him, why did you say this, why did you say this? Yes, there is a logic behind everything, but he doesn't have any personal motives. See, motives should be understood here as personal motives. He neither wants something from you, nor does he want you to get molded in a particular way, or there is really no planning and scheming in a negative way. See, again, every word which is being said can be misunderstood. When I say there are no planning and scheming, you will immediately take it as a spiritual person will never plan. It's not that way. The best example, that is the negative example we can take to illustrate this is Shakuni. Shakuni always had a motive, a personal motive. When Krishna came as a peacemaker, when he came to Hastinapura to talk to the Kauravas, what happened is Shakuni immediately called Duryodhana and both of them went to Dhritarashtra, the king, and they said, listen, Lord Krishna is coming. Shakuni was saying that do make such wonderful arrangements. We should immediately arrange for such wonderful arrangements. The reception should be so grand that Krishna gets impressed. Then we can pull him to our side. And Duryodhana, being a little more straightforward, he says, no, I don't want to, do all this. Then Shakuni says, don't be a fool. If Krishna comes to our side, then it's impossible that Pandavas will even go ahead with his war. So Dhritarashtra sees a point in what Shakuni says and then he makes elaborate arrangements. Planning and scheming, So at every step, Krishna's journey was made so convenient, so wonderful. People were there to welcome him. Krishna just accepted all that with a smile, without getting affected, because he knows. Now, what is interesting is uh, Vidura, the younger brother of Dhritarashtra, who had a lot of wisdom. Now he tells Dhritarashtra, I know what is there in your mind. You're listening to Shakuni and Duryodhana. You're making all these arrangements, but you are really not concerned about the welfare of Lord Krishna. That is not your motive. Your motive is to somehow win him over. But believe me, Lord Krishna is not going to fall for all this. If you really want to win Krishna over, you should become dharmic. You should become righteous. This is what Vidura told him. And what is interesting is, when Krishna came, so much of so much of arrangements were made in a very grand way. And Krishna just took it in a stride, and then they had arranged for a stay in a very palatial way for Krishna. And Vidura had also invited Krishna to his place, which was just a simple place. Krishna chose to go with Vidura. He had food there. He stayed there. And Duryodhana himself was surprised. He said, we have made such grand arrangements, palatial arrangements. Why is this Krishna leaving all that and going to Vidura's place, which may not be as comfortable as this? The reason is, Krishna saw the purity. The bhavana was very pure. When Vidura received Krishna, he didn't really have any motive. It was just pure love, devotion. And Krishna reciprocated. See, whenever you become motiveless, that is the time you can give unconditional love. The moment you have a personal motive, that prevents you from giving true love. The same thing happened with Krishna's dear friend Sudama. He was in poverty, and his wife told him, listen, you should go and meet Krishna. Krishna was his childhood friend. They both had studied together in the Gurukula. So he said, you should go and meet Krishna. And you should ask him for wealth. See, we are in this state. Sudama said, listen, how can I go and ask him? He's my friend. So his wife said, no. See, Krishna is such a wonderful person, and you are his close friend. If he sees you in this condition, poverty, definitely he'll not be happy. So she had made some beaten rice, which was Krishna's favorite food, and Sudama had taken that. So when he went into the palace, what is interesting is, all the guards were wondering, who is this poor person entering? They even tried to stop him. But the moment Krishna heard that, the guards were asking him, who is this? And he was saying, go and tell Krishna that Sudama has come. The moment Krishna heard that name Sudama, he rushed outside. And he went and hugged his Sudama, who was his dear, dear friend. And he invited him, he made him sit on the throne. Even the guards, everybody were taken aback. The great Krishna is giving so much of importance. Now, what is that importance for? What was Krishna's motive? No motives, really, just pure love. And what is interesting is, Sudama forgot to ask Krishna for, for wealth. He simply forgot. Krishna by himself gave him. Because when there is true love, you can understand what the other person is going through. That is such a beautiful episode. It's a beautiful incident. Krishna was there, Sudama was there. Both had no motives. Unconditional love. That was the exchange of energy there. Pure, unconditional love. And Sudama had brought the favorite food of Krishna. And without even Sudama asking, Krishna gave him a lot of wealth. That exchange was also there. But that was not the primary thing. The primary exchange was that of love, unconditional love. So, when we say no motive to act or not act, you should understand the energy of purity which is backing this principle. When he says artha, when we consider it as motive, it means that person is so pure, innocent, like a child. See, we attribute motives to everything. So even when you meet a master, your conditioning, your mind will judge. Incidentally, a master who is free of all personal motives doesn't judge anyone also. He may tell the student, this is right, this is wrong, this is not good for you and all that. That is different. But a master is literally like a child. Shankara says Balavat. Balavat means like a child. See, we are trying to pick up some examples from real life so that it becomes easy for you to understand the subtle state in which a yogi is. So, no motives. Number two, we saw was reason. So, every time you do something, the ultimate reason is for happiness. Now, that is not applicable to a yogi because he is already happy. And then we saw the third dimension, which is cause. So, everything which you do or which you avoid is a cause which produces an effect. And that effect becomes a cause for further effects. So, this is a cycle which keeps on going. And your consciousness is trapped in this cycle. Your mind loses its freedom. Your mind becomes a slave trapped inside this cycle. Now, a yogi is one who has raised his consciousness way, way higher than this cause-effect cycle. It's not that the cycle is not there. Externally, a master will be functioning within the rules of the cause and effect only. But internally, his consciousness is one with the infinite. And naturally, the mind gets uplifted. The mind just follows the consciousness. Wherever your consciousness is trapped, your mind will also be there. If your consciousness is trapped with some negative thing, the mind will also start thinking negatively. If your consciousness is stuck with something positive, the mind will also start thinking positively. So today, your consciousness is stuck somewhere without any control of yours, and you are completely caught up. Your mind is caught up in this cycle of cause and effect. When you do the Yoga Sankirtan sadhana on a daily basis, your consciousness starts rising above this cause and effect chakra. And when your consciousness starts rising, your mind is also uplifted. The result of that would be whatever problems, whatever small things, the pinpricks of life which are bothering you today, which are not allowing you to sleep peacefully, all those things will stop bothering you. It may be very simple, that is very silly also from a higher level, but for a person who is caught up at that level, that problem would be affecting him so much. See, when you think of life in a very deep way, from a higher angle, supposing a person comes and insults you, or something goes wrong one day. Now, are these things so big? Really, no. But for you, when you are caught up there, that is a very serious issue. We'll come to, there is another dimension of artha where we will see this in a little more detail. So, keeping your mind beyond this cause and effect cycle gives you that internal peace, and that can happen only if your consciousness is raised up. And your consciousness will expand and move up only if you do sadhana. There is no other way. And Yoga Sankirtan sadhana is the secret principle behind all sadhanas, and that is being directly given to you. What is that principle? Of course, there are so many aspects, but one simple way of understanding that is nothing but getting attuned to the higher vibrations. Now, whether you do karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, whatever sadhana you do, you have to get attuned to the higher vibrations. Now, that is being taught to you directly. The principle of Yoga Sankirtan is the base on which all sadhanas all sadhanas are resting. So that's why you're being told every now and then, do your daily sadhana, do your daily sadhana. Only then you will be able to come out of that chakra of cause and effect. When you are trapped in that cycle, it's very difficult for you to see a way out. Relatively also, when you're caught in a particular problem, you feel as if there is no way out. It could be anything. I want to get married. If that starts bothering you, now you may not find a partner immediately. It's your own, the energy pattern which you are creating actually pushes that away. If you become anxious about your son's future or your daughter's future, anybody, oh, my child, this has to happen. The moment you get anxious, what is the energy pattern which you're generating? It's a negative energy pattern. That itself will push the result away. And when you're caught up with that, it becomes very difficult to practice detachment. That is why the daily sadhana helps you to practice all these things in a smooth way. So, number one, motive, number two, reason, and then the cause. Then, artha also means purpose. This also we saw. So there is no purpose to act or not act here. Means I explained to you very clearly. It means he has achieved the highest purpose. So therefore, his actions are not directed towards any purpose. They are just expressions of that infinite state. So arthaha means purpose, arthaha also means end, arthaha means aim. They all these dimensions can be combined together: purpose, aim, end. So when you act, it is suggested that you act with an aim, you act with an end in mind, you fix a goal, you build a purpose in your actions. You go on building, you refine the purpose to the highest purpose of life, which is self-realization. And then finally, when you merge with the infinite, that will also drop. So purposeless action or purposeless avoidance of action, which he's talking about here, is coming from that infinite dimension. If you misunderstand this, you will get into a state of tamas. Some people have no purpose in life, no aim, no goal, nothing to achieve. They just lead a lazy life. That is not what he is referring to. You have to be very careful. As I told you, this is like a double-edged sword. Slight misunderstanding, you will slip into tamas. So, even though he is saying that for a yogi there is no purpose to act or to not act here, if you want to practice that, what is the sadhana message? Build a purpose, just the opposite of that. Make your actions purposeful. And then when you achieve the highest purpose, it will drop off automatically. So these three dimensions put together, that is purpose, end, aim, they are also similar. So I'm just clubbing them together. They help you to understand that supreme state. So initially you start off with an aim, with the end. There is a goal, purpose, which gives you the purpose for your actions. I'm repeating this several times so that it gets drilled in your mind, because it is a misunderstanding of the scriptures which have created problems. And many people who claim that I've gotten into spirituality, I'm practicing the scriptures, the Bhagavad Gita and all that, they just become very lazy people because of misunderstanding of these principles. So one is a state of tamas, which is a lower state. A tamasic person also has no purpose. The other is a state which is beyond sattva also, where a master who is one with the infinite, he keeps acting, he keeps speaking, he keeps generating thoughts and emotions wherever it's required. But all that becomes an expression of that infinite energy. If you want to understand the true meaning of the scriptures, if you just associate yourself with the master, that is more than enough. But you should be able to absorb that higher energy. If you're constantly judgmental, if a master smiles, why is he smiling? If he meets one person and does not meet another person, oh, he is meeting only him, why isn't he meeting me? Is he being partial? Like this, you will constantly be judging. A true yogi is very spontaneous. Since you're used to having personal motives, selfishness, so many factors, Even if you associate with a yogi, you will not be able to absorb the energy which he is giving. That is why it is suggested that you meet, learn something. See, even every Sunday, you're learning so much, but then do your daily sadhana so that your capacity to absorb the infinite energy also increases. To observe, that is to be with a master, to observe and learn the subtleties of life, that is not so easy. Because the master will be so spontaneous, according to the situation, he will do opposite things also sometimes. To one person he may be harsh, to one person he may be very kind, extra kind. He'll go out of the way and do something. If a person comes and says, "Sir, shall I take a photograph of yours?" He may he may pose. Some people he may say no. Now you will get totally confused. So the best way to get connected to the Guru is to do sadhana only and receive the infinite energy which is being radiated through every action, through every word, action at all levels. So that is a very powerful dimension. We will also see one more dimension of Artha. Again, this one is a combination of three dimensions. We will see all three together because they are so much interrelated. Artha means meaning. So there is no meaning in action or avoiding action for a yogi. I'm giving you the three dimensions first and then we'll club them together and we will see. Artha also means sense. So for a yogi there is no sense in acting or not acting. See, I'll explain that. If you first I'm just giving you the dimensions because you'll wonder what is this. Artha also means significance. A yogi has no significance with respect to action or no action. Now I think your confusion is complete. See, we are doing karma yoga. The very emphasis is on karma, action. And here what is being told to you is action has no meaning, no sense, no significance. The clue there is action also has no sense. Non-action, that is avoiding action, also has no meaning, no sense, no significance. That is where the clue lies. So, meaning, sense, significance, we'll combine these three together. Then you will be able to understand this very easily. What is he talking about here? See, per se, action or no action, all that happens at the level of the finite. Now, a yogi's consciousness has moved higher up to the infinite dimension. From that dimension, these things actually have no meaning, no sense, no significance. A simple relative example would be when a child is going through its childhood, let's say the child is playing with the toys. Let's say the child is cooking. Now it has a small toy vessel a toy stove, and it keeps the vessel on the stove, and it is very busy in cooking. All this is just a game. And suddenly, let us say, the vessel falls down, or the child cries immediately, "Oh, my vessel has fallen now." Then you say, "No problem, no problem." You take the vessel and again give it. The child is happily playing. Now, for the child, that game which is being played of cooking is not a game. You call it a game because you have outgrown that. As an adult, you don't see any meaning or sense or significance in that. But for a child, that act of cooking there is a very important thing. That's why when the vessel falls, a child cries. And that emotion is very real for the child. You should identify with the child. You shouldn't tell the child, "Well, after all, you're crying just for this toy vessel, is it?" You shouldn't say that. For a child, the loss of a toy gives as much sorrow as when compared to an adult who has lost, let's say, millions of money, millions of rupees a person has lost, and he's crying. From a higher standpoint, both are same only. You can understand this with respect to the toys of children, but you are caught up at your level. Now, a yogi who has risen to the infinite dimension sees everyone as children only. As he says in one of the later verses, Balaha. Balaha means a child. Children. Children playing with toys. Within that, when you see a child, you say, "Oh, when a child cries, you console the child, but deep within you understand, someday the child is going to outgrow these toys." Similarly, today you are caught up with your toys. What are your toys? Wealth, name, fame, power, position, career, relationships, this, that, all these are toys. Just like a child is playing with its toys, as adults, you are playing with your toys. And when something goes wrong in your life, now you are affected by that. Very serious. A yogi consoles you. You go to your guru and he says, "Don't worry, everything will become okay." Just as you console your child. That's why, very significantly, they say the guru is our spiritual parent. That's usually said in the yogic parlance. Why? Because literally it's true. So, what is so significant to you, action and avoiding action at that level, becomes very insignificant, meaningless, no sense at all once you move to a higher level. Example, child playing with toys, and now that you have become an adult, how are you viewing that? Supposing, let us say, you also go and play that game with the child, just for fun. Supposing one vessel falls off, are you going to sit and cry very seriously? You may put on an act just for the game. But supposing you cry, then there is something really wrong, wrong with you. Why is it that a child is getting so affected by the toys and you are not getting affected by those toys? Because you have outgrown them. Similarly, you are playing with your toys today. No master comes and says, "Don't play with your toys." You don't tell that to a child. Keep playing, no problem. Keep playing this game. He will give you the healing, he'll give you the energy for you to, play with all these toys in a better way. But he will also teach you the higher sadhana. He will give you empowerments. He will give you he will teach you how to do the daily sadhana, which when done properly over a period of time will help you outgrow all these toys and move to a further higher level. So from that highest level, he says, acting or not acting, all these things really don't have any meaning. Really, there is no sense. There is no big significance. So you need to again understand the spirit of what he's saying here. Supposing you go and tell a child, listen, all these things have no meaning, whatever toys you're having, the child will not accept that. Actually, the child will think you're emotionless. That's what happens when a master comes and says all these things have no significance. People immediately think, oh, that person has no emotions. He has just simply outgrown them, that's all. So you don't belittle a child, you don't look down upon a child, you don't go and fight with a child. But nowadays I find many adults fight with children also. See, at least that you can avoid. No? You fight with other adults, okay, even that is meaningless, but there is some logic in that. But to go and fight with children, I know some people who get angry with babies. Oh, yesterday the baby, that baby smiled at me. Today the baby is not smiling. Why is that? They get upset with that. See, the mind can go to any level if you're not careful. So you identify with a child, you identify with a baby, you give unconditional love and you get that back in return. It's the same thing which you need to practice at your level now. Slowly, slowly you will outgrow all these. You will move to that infinite dimension. So it's a higher state, a higher level which he's talking about. Detachment is not a dry state. From the viewpoint of a child, the child will consider adulthood as a very dry state. One day you will become an adult. The child will ask, okay, once I become an adult, I will not be able to play with these toys, is it? No, you can play if you want, but you will not be interested. Oh, I will not be interested. I will lose interest in all these toys. In this, the child is playing with some broken glass pieces, let us say. Broken glass piece is dangerous, but sometimes, some wood piece or something which is broken also is a toy only for the child. It's playing very seriously. Oh, all this I will not be interested in. What a dry state. Now, how to explain to a child? Listen, once you outgrow them, there are further higher things in life. But any lecture you give the child will not be able to understand. Similarly, when a master comes down from that highest level and says, listen, you should outgrow all these, what will happen then? You're too caught up with these things. Oh, I will not have any interest in all this. That is a very dry state. I think you must be a very dry person. This is how immediately people conclude. Why is it that people come to spirituality? Why is it that youngsters don't take up to spirituality? Because they take all this as an emotionless state. Because spirituality has been totally misrepresented by false gurus. So the whole thing has been misunderstood. People think that now spirituality is going to remove all the enjoyments from your life. No way. Actually, this higher energy, this higher wisdom helps you to live your life fully but at some stage you will outgrow them. Outgrowing is what is detachment. So when he says this person finds no meaning, no sense or no significance, that's because he finds meaning in the infinite. He finds full sense in the infinite. For him, infinite is the most significant thing. It's a higher thing which he is pegged on to, a higher state. So till you reach that level, this wisdom helps you to achieve whatever you want to achieve in this world in a better way. It helps you to materialize things. But once you move to that highest level, you may materialize, you may not materialize, you may act, you may not act. Like you may go to a child, one day you may play with the child, the same game. Some days you may have something else to do, so you may not play. All those things really do not matter. So a yogi is constantly in that state of infinite. Sometimes he may participate in the world, sometimes he may be in solitude. These things really do not matter. And the funniest part is when you develop an ego over your attachments. A yogi only smiles because you're developing an ego over something which is so insignificant when viewed from a higher level. Oh, I have achieved this. I have acquired so much of wealth. I am the most powerful person. Okay, be powerful. What's the big deal? That is the attitude of a yogi. For a child, let's say two children are they are playing a game and one child wins. Now that child says, "Yay, I have won," and it comes to you and says, "I won the game." Now what do you tell the child? Oh, great, great, wonderful. Other child is so depressed. I lost. They say, don't worry, next time you'll win. You're completely detached with respect to their game, the game which they are playing. Why? Because you moved up to the state of adulthood. Now similarly, when you move to the higher dimension, the infinite dimension, now all these affectations which you're going through here will actually mean nothing. But a master will not directly tell you that. Supposing you're feeling very sorrowful, he will not say, it's nothing, why are you feeling so? He will not philosophize like that. Because he understands that when you are caught up at that level, the emotions which you go through are real for you. So a master truly identifies with everyone. He helps you better your life, but at the same time, secretly, he is working behind you in the background to, slowly help you move up and outgrow all these things. Oh, you want a lot of wealth? Yes, I'll teach you how to gain more wealth. Don't worry, you want wealth, health, you want better relationships? Yes, come and receive this infinite energy with all love, with all compassion a master gives. Receive the healing. But he puts a condition, but you should do your sadhana. Only then the healing will be given. So you do the sadhana. Initially you do your sadhana to achieve these small things, the toys which you are playing with. No problem. But there is a secret there. The sadhana is designed, the sadhana materials, the methods are designed in such a way that you will get whatever you want. That is at the surface level, but at the deeper level, your consciousness will be pulled up. You will start outgrowing all these things. And the process of outgrowing is what they called as detachment. So, vairagya, detachment, is not a dry state. It is getting into a higher state which gives you more bliss, more happiness. That infinite state gives you infinite happiness, infinite bliss. So it is not lack of something, but it is full of higher things. If you view it from this side, it will look as if it is lack of something. So one small sadhana practice I'll give you here. This is, if you carefully follow this, this will be very useful when you're going through a lot of stress. If when you're going through a lot of stress about something in life, you lost some money, or something which you had planned out didn't go off well, whatever it is, it may be a relationship issue, anything. Now you're caught up there, and that's giving you a lot of frustration, anger and all that. For a second, if you just can pause, if you can take a few minutes and just remember this example which was given to you, the childhood, toys and you being an adult. If you can just put that thought in your mind, similarly, now I have lost some toy in my life and I am crying for this. And you connect yourself with the Guru Shakti. Invoke the blessings of your Guru and all the holy masters who are at a further higher level. Just a few minutes, if you are able to successfully do that, you will find that the healing will start happening. Whatever sorrow, everything which you have will all start getting released. Just practice this and see. It's a subtle sadhana, and I'm not saying it will be easy, because when you're caught up in an emotion, when you're caught up with a problem, to even remember this will be very difficult. That is where devotion helps. If you're truly, truly devoted to the Guru, you will ask for help whenever you go through a problem. If you say, oh, I forgot to ask for help, I forgot to do my sadhana because the problem is there, it means the devotion hasn't yet matured to that subtle level. A true sadhak is one who never hesitates to ask for help. Sometimes, some sadhaks say, I don't want to disturb my Guru. As if, it's another illusion. See, the real reason why you don't want to seek guidance is because of ego. Some hesitation, some block is there. Instead of saying that, you camouflage it as if you're at such a high state, a selfless state. If you're already at that level, you don't require all this. So a true sadhak knows, this is bothering me now, and this will not allow me to do my sadhana properly, so let me ask for help. Wherever you may be, just close your eyes, invoke the Guru Shakti, seek help. If you do it in this background of this example which I told you, I am playing with my toys today, just that thought itself will give you a little bit of detachment. It will uplift you. It's not that will immediately take you to the highest level, no. But you're so caught up with the present problem, it will take you a little high, and with that little bit of detachment, you will be able to get connected to the Guru Shakti faster. You will receive the healing better. Sometimes when people are caught up with a problem and then they ask for healing, how much ever healing energy is sent, they are unable to receive that. Because they're so caught up with the problem. This small practice will help you to receive the healing which the Master gives. This homework which is being given to you is not merely for this 1 week. It's for your whole life. Whenever you face an issue, Whenever anything is disturbing you, remember some toy is disturbing me. If something has gone wrong, I'm like a child who's getting disturbed. If you're able to extrapolate this example to your situation and see yourself in that way, to that extent, you are isolating yourself, you're isolating your consciousness, you're detaching your consciousness from the problem there. This is being put in a very simple way for you, but it's a very deep and powerful sadhana. It's you practice it and see. Next time when you're upset over something, don't immediately philosophize. Don't bring in any philosophy. No. The fact of the matter, the reality is that thing is upsetting you. It may be small, it may be big and all that. That all those are interpretation. But that is affecting you. That's all. So this is the moment you use the word toy, now the whole complexion changes. So this is a toy which is affecting me today. From a higher spiritual point of view, I am like a child who's going through these experiences. So let me release this. Close your eyes, get connected to the Guru Shakti. Seek help. Please give me healing. Do the deep breathing. You will find that the healing will happen very fast. Whatever be the problem. Okay, so this is a small sadhana which has been given to you, and as I told you, I'm not saying the sadhana will be easy. See, the structure of the sadhana is very simple. But for you to remember it when you are caught up with a problem is the most difficult thing. See, otherwise, what am I saying? Just sit calmly, detach yourself, and invoke the Guru Shakti and ask for help. Do the deep breathing. That's all. The procedure looks so simple. It is simple only. But for you to remember that you have to do it when you're going through some issue, when something is affecting you, is the most difficult thing. Because the nature of the problem will be so intense for you, that emotion will be so intense that will pull your mind, it will pull your consciousness will be stuck there. And even when you realize, your ego will prevent you from surrendering and asking for help. You will feel, oh no, I can handle it. It is only when you come to that stage of surrender that you start receiving the higher healing Shakti. There is no other way. Many people think Jnana Yoga means gaining knowledge. You don't become a jnani when you gain knowledge. It is only when that knowledge becomes mature and when you learn to surrender that you become a jnani. The jnani and bhakta, they look as if they are traveling in two different paths, but the final state is one and the same. So, take up this sadhana as homework for your life. Start practicing it. Whenever you have any issue or something, that is an opportunity to practice this. See, this is a method by which you're converting even a problem into a sadhana. When you come out of that issue, you would have become more strong. You would have become more spiritual. I am giving you practical ways by which you can convert every experience into sadhana and you can keep on growing. Okay, so we will stop with that here. very powerful dimensions of Artha have been given. I have clubbed 2-3 dimensions together and given in a very easy way for you to understand. So if you just reflect on the examples which were given and all that, that will help you to go deep into this principle. So before we do the Nididhyasana meditation, I will take up a question. This question has been asked in the YouTube comment section. Hari Om Yogishri, I have a query. We are on the lookout for a bride for our son. He is also doing Yoga Sankirtan Sadhana. Of late, he says he is doing sadhana regularly. We are searching for a bride for him on the basis of his birth horoscope, avoiding certain stars, etc. In today's session, you have told us that if we do sadhana, we can change the impressions of our past and rewrite our future. Also, not to get caught in this horoscope predictions, as no one can predict future perfectly. Based on what criteria can we go about this search? Personally, I would prefer a bride who does sadhana so that both of them can grow spiritually together. Thanks a lot, Yogishri. Now, I'll take up this question, I'll answer. It's not only an answer to her, there are other sadhaks also who have asked similar questions. One sadhak is almost a similar situation, searching, looking for a partner for his son. He says it has not yet materialized. What should we do? There is another person also who's looking for to get his daughter married. So many questions have come, and this astrology part also, I'll explain everything in a brief way. When the context comes further also, I'll explain in detail. See, first of all, you're saying we are on the lookout for a bride for our son. I've scanned the energy and I can see what is happening. As a parent, I fully understand your intention that your son or daughter needs to get married. That is your wish. But the energy which you are generating is that of anxiety. There is a fear that this may not happen. What if it doesn't happen? So much of anxiety and stress is there. Anything when done in a stressful way will not materialize so easily. So the first step which I would suggest to her and other parents also who have asked is to drop that anxiety. How will you drop that anxiety? I've given you, so even today's technique, many techniques have been given, even today's technique can be applied there. This is the toy which is bothering me so much today. The moment this is said, see now this is online and I'm saying, so you have to just listen to this. But otherwise in person, when people come for such issues and I say, first thing is you should drop your anxiety. The first reaction which they give, no, I'm not anxious, Yogishri, I'm not stressed. The ego immediately comes up, it doesn't allow you to accept. So I want you to see what is the kind of energy pattern which you're generating first. Whenever we want to achieve something, the energy pattern which we are generating is so important. So you have said we are on the lookout for the bride for our son, but the energy behind it is that of anxiety. So do the sadhana and drop the anxiety. Do the deep breathing during the Yoga Sankirtan sadhana or the empowerment sadhana meditations which you're doing, and seek healing from the Guru Shakti and release that anxiety. So what will happen if he doesn't? Nothing will happen. There are many people who have lived their lives as without marriage also. I'm not saying that's going to happen to your son. It's not that. This is said so that you will drop your anxiety for that. Because your anxiety is a block. It will create a negative energy pattern which will not help in materializing things. Number one. Number two, you're saying he's also doing yoga sankirtan sadhana. Of late he's saying he's doing a sadhana regularly. Of late he's doing sadhana regularly means earlier he was not doing regularly. Now, to all the parents, there is one important message which I would like to give. See, you are saying we are looking for a partner for our son or we are looking for a daughter. What is your child feeling? Is your son ready for that? Is your daughter 100% ready for that? You will say, yes, they are ready. But in most cases, I have found that that's not the case. They have their own hang-ups. He may have his own concepts of what marriage is. He may be seeing marriage as a bondage. How can I marry someone just like that? Nowadays everyone is caught up with some principle or other wrong principles, Some people say, I will first financially settle down, only then I will get married. But what is the meaning of financially settling down? What they give out only at 35, 40, there is a possibility of that happening. No, I had a past relationship. One girl was telling me, Yogishri, I had a relationship with a boy and we went apart. That relationship broke. Those wounds are there. So there is a subconscious fear of getting into a relationship now. It could be anything. I'm giving you just practical examples to say that you may want something, but the other person should be ready for that. So, the right thing would be if your son puts a mail, if your son says, I want a partner, Yogishri, how do I materialize this? Or a daughter says, I want to get married, how do I meet? Then it becomes more easy. See, you're talking for your son. You're talking for your daughter. Many times parents say, Yogishri, can you please meet my son? I say, your son only has to ask, no? You are asking on his behalf. See, there is an anxiety and I fully understand, I agree also. Yes, you're anxious because, you want your son or daughter, your child to have a wonderful future. But you should understand that anxiety will not help. So, you have to bring a certain amount of detachment in your attitude. This is so important. So, ask your son to put a message. Again, don't force. Sometimes, I get mail. One youngster once wrote to me, Dear Yogishri, my father asked me to send this message to you, therefore I am putting this message. Which means he's saying, I don't want to put it, I am not taking any advice because my father is bothering me so much, therefore I am putting. See, there is a block there, So, detachment is the first point. Second thing is, you're talking about horoscopes and all. See, you've already gotten into this. From what you're saying, birth stars, all that. So, if I tell you now, set aside all the horoscope and just look for this, you will practically not be able to do that because your mind has gotten into that fear syndrome. You are afraid. Supposing the horoscope doesn't matches and then what will happen to their life? So, a lot of fear energy is being generated. So, what I would say is, I'm only giving you a practical suggestion. Instead of dropping off all that, which you will anyway not be able to do, don't get too caught up with all these, matchings and all that. That way, in astrology, there are 120 factors which you need to see, what they call as Puruttam. Puruttam means matches. Not a handful, 120. Are you going to sit and traditionally look at all those 120 factors? Then no partner, no two partners will be compatible. There was a man I knew. He was looking for a boy for his daughter. 120 matches I want. And he convinced his daughter also. He taught her some principles of astrology and said, unless 120 is there, your life will not be good. They started believing that. The daughter didn't get a match at all because very good matches came, but they refused because 57th thing is not matching. Becomes very difficult. Life will become very complicated. So you've already gotten into that. Basically see something that is more than what is the factor which is most important. You're saying I would prefer the what have you written? Personally, I would prefer a bride who does sadhana so that both of them. See, you're writing your preference. Your son should say what he prefers. As a parent, you should not, you can wish for the welfare of your child, but you cannot prefer that the bride should be like this. That is putting conditions. Why? See, if you restrict, you're already putting conditions and you're restricting so much your opportunities. You're saying the bride should now do sadhana. How many people do sadhana in this world? And by sadhana, what your meaning is our Yoga Sankirtan sadhana. That means you will have to look only in this circle, those who are attending lectures. Next thing, I may get a mail from many parents. Yogishri, can you suggest some girl or boy for my child who is doing sadhana? Don't put such conditions. What we have to see is whether the boy likes the girl likes the boy, whether they are gelling with each other. That is the most important criteria. Why a person cannot do sadhana later, is it? When did you start your sadhana? Probably a few years back. Were you doing sadhana right from early childhood? No. So why put such conditions? Lesser the conditions, the faster it will materialize. The more conditions you are going to put, it will keep on going away. So you need to guide the child, but you cannot decide and say this person is only the best partner and all that. That is a wrong thing to do. That is not how our ancient wisdom was, ancient culture was. The good old days, they used to have swayamvaras. No? Swayamvaras means swayam. That person, the girl used to choose who her partner should be. So among those 120 matches in Vedic astrology, one very important match is being given, that is called Mana Puruttam. Mana Puruttam means the minds should meet. That is the highest match. Once the mind becomes compatible, the two minds become compatible, all other things can be made compatible, can be worked on. That is what I meant by saying once you are doing the higher sadhana, you should now learn to create your life, not go by your past destiny. What is a horoscope? That is just reflecting the karmas with which you are born with. Now through sadhana, you have the power to change your karmas. So your approach should change from one of fear and anxiety to that of happiness. The concerned person, the boy or girl, With the full bhavana, if he does sadhana and simply asks the universe, or with the blessings of the Guru Shakti, please give me the right partner, the partner will come. I'm simplifying the art of materialization for you. Just with that bhavana call, the right person will come. Instead of going through so much of anxieties and thing, you know. So as parents, you have to become a little detached. Otherwise, you will become so bothered and you will be pressurizing the children also. And as children, youngsters, kindly take decisions at the right time. Don't keep on postponing something. At the right age, what I mean is, see, as a child you can do certain things, as a youth you can do certain things, as in old age you can do certain things. That's how life is made. So have that clarity. So I have given you the general principles, what you need to follow. If you want, you listen to this answer several times. I may have been a little direct because that will genuinely help you. So take it in the right spirit, but drop off these factors which are causing negative energy. And definitely, the healing is being given. Every time you ask for something, immediately I sit and direct the healing energy. Every little request. Now, how much you receive, what you're doing with it, all that depends on. If you practice these principles, you will be able to receive that fully. Okay? So now we'll do Nididhyasana meditation. Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. With every breath, I am becoming more and more relaxed. Feel the divine vibrations. With every breath, I am going deeper and deeper into myself. Beyond my physical body, beyond my pranas, beyond my emotions and thoughts, lies my real self. My higher self is infinite and divine. From this moment onwards, I choose to do my daily sadhana consistently with full bhavana. I am Swayam Prakashit, self-illuminating. Offer your gratitude to God Supreme. offer your gratitude to your Guru and all the holy masters. Wriggle your fingers, your toes, open and close your palms a few times. Rub your palms together to create a warmth. And cup your eyes with your palms. Gently rub your eyes, your cheeks, forehead, the top of your head, the back of your head, your neck, and slowly open your eyes. Welcome back. So in today's session, many important points have been given that sadhana practice, which has been given as your homework, it's a very beautiful practice. It'll help you to solve any problem or any issue quickly and get back your balance. The higher Shakti is always there to help you. The Guru Shakti is always there to guide you. Now it is up to you to seek and receive. Seeking is the key. Seeking with your heart, seeking with your full bhavana, with full surrender. Not having your own blocks. Do sadhana and remove those blocks. The highest healing energy is being showered upon you unconditionally. Now, the more you practice these things, the better you will be able to receive that healing energy. As a sadhak, develop that confidence to materialize whatever it is that you want in life. Create your life. That confidence should come. Okay, so in the next session, we will move to the second line of this verse. There are a lot of messages in that also. So we'll see all that. So thank you very much. I'll see you in the next session. Hari Om.